What is up, y'all? Today we're going to be making one of my absolute favorite things to eat in the entire world, Cajun butter lobster tail. But first, make sure you have subscribed to the channel. Go ahead and hit that notification bell so you're notified each week when these recipes drop. Let's get started. Alright, so I picked up these lobster tails from my local grocer. These are between 4 and 6 ounces a piece, and I got 3 of them. So first things first, you want to make sure that you go ahead and give them a good wash off. Once you have them all nice and clean, you're going to break out your good old kitchen shears here. If you don't have kitchen shears, I highly recommend you get them. They're super useful and I use them all the time. And what I'm going to do here is cut off the little swimmers at the bottom. You really don't have to do this, but just for presentation purposes, I know some people don't like to eat things that look like they're creepy crawly, and they kind of give those vibes. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take them off here. But like I said, you do not have to do this step at all if they don't bother you. Alright, now that that's done, what we're going to do is take our kitchen shears and cut down the back of the lobster shell. Now, you don't want to cut too far here, just down to the tip of the tail. And then what you're going to do is take a finger and kind of slide it between the top of the shell and the meat to kind of separate the top part from the meat. If you have difficulty here, take a spoon and slide it in between the top of the shell and the meat, and that'll work as well. Alright, here's where you're going to have to get your hands dirty a little bit. You're going to now flip over the lobster shell and then take your finger and just kind of slide it in between the bottom of the shell and the meat to kind of lodge it out. Once that's done, you can flip it back over and you'll see I noticed that the vein is still in this shrimp, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. You definitely don't want to eat that, just like you don't want to eat that when you're cleaning shrimp, so make sure that's gone, and then your lobster meat should pull easily to the top of the shell. Once you have pulled that out, go ahead and close the shell underneath it and then just set the lobster meat on top. Next, we're just going to clean up the lobster tails a bit and get some of those extra pieces and just make them look nice for whenever we're presenting them at the end. Alright, I went ahead and finished those up and got all 3 of my lobster tails done, and this is what I was left with. Alright, now it's time to make our Cajun garlic butter. First, we're going to start off with about 5 to 6 tablespoons of melted butter, and then we're going in with about a tablespoon of minced garlic. Next, we're going to go ahead and hit it with about 1/4 teaspoon of Old Bay here, because Old Bay and seafood go hand in hand. And then I'm going to add a bit of garlic powder. You don't have to go too heavy here because we do have minced garlic in here as well. And then I'm going to add a bit of black pepper here to taste. Next, we're going to go in with about 1/4 teaspoon of lemon pepper. Now, if you don't have lemon pepper, that's fine. Just go in with some lemon juice, and that'll do the trick as well. And then we're going to go in with some Tony's, because it wouldn't be Cajun garlic butter without the Cajun seasoning, of course. And then I'm going to hit it with some fresh parsley, just for a pop of color and a bit of freshness. As always, the ingredients will be listed below in the description, so feel free to check that out as well. Go ahead and give that a full mix, and then we're going to add that to our lobster. So actually, before we add it to the lobster, let's go ahead and save about half of this butter. So I'm just going to separate this out, and what we're going to do is add this to the lobster at the end after it's done baking. And we don't want to cross-contaminate, so we're going to separate them. One thing that I see people forget to do a lot when making lobster tails is season the actual meat. So we're going to go ahead and do that here with some Old Bay seasoning. You don't necessarily need to measure here, just make sure you get a good coating on each piece. And then I like to use Old Bay, and also gonna hit it with a bit of garlic powder. And then I actually like to go ahead and finish off with a bit of Tony's as well, but you don't have to do this if you are a bit spice sensitive. Now it's time to go ahead and add in our garlic butter. I'm just gonna take a brush here and start brushing that on top. If you don't have a brush, you can definitely just use a spoon and kind of drizzle it on top. But I'm going to show you why I'm using a brush here in a second, because we want to also brush some on the bottom. Why? Because you eat both sides. So go ahead and get that butter brushed on both sides of all of your lobster tails, and then we're going to get these in the oven. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and break out my cast iron skillet, because that's what I'm going to be using to bake these in. But you can use whatever you want. Whatever oven safe dish that you have will work here. They're not a messy dish or anything, so no need for the cast iron, but I just love cooking in cast iron, so that's what I'm going to go with. Now make sure you go ahead and have your oven preheating to 400 degrees, and then we're going to bake these in the oven for about 15 minutes total. Now, after about 15 minutes, this is what you're gonna have. Now this is what I call a lobster tail glow up. Alright, let's go ahead and finish these things off. I'm gonna go ahead and add a bit of freshly squeezed lemon juice here on each of them. Once that's done, I'm gonna go ahead and bust out that butter that we were saving. Yeah, we didn't forget about that. Drizzle that all on top. A little food porn action here. Make sure you get each lobster tail covered in that delicious garlic Cajun butter. Sprinkle with some parsley, say your grace, and boom, you have just been blessed. That's really it, y'all. Go ahead and plate these up and you are ready to eat. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you have not already, and I'll be dropping weekly recipe videos just like this, so make sure you have notifications turned on so you get notified each week when they do drop. But other than that, guys, enjoy. Make sure you tag me when you make these, because I know you guys will be making these and digging in as much as I did. And pro tip, use your kitchen shears, wash them of course, and eat your lobster tails that way. Get a nice clean cut. I'm gonna go ahead and dip these in this garlic butter, and oh my god, I think the face says it all here.